Anti-ICE protesters are getting on the 101 freeway once again. This a live picture from the scene.
Yeah, you can see that traffic stopped completely. You can see the people there more on the right side of your screen there. What we have been learning is that they climbed over a fence to gain access to the 101. This is in downtown. And we've been watching these protests day after day, and we've often seen law enforcement blocking the on-ramps to the 101 to keep people off of the highway. But this time they have managed to maneuver around those blocks and went over a fence.
That's right, Amy. It looks like officers are there. It looks like some of those protesters are turning around. Others are kind of moving in the area there. At least they're not blocking the lanes of traffic, but as you can see there, they are holding back traffic at this moment.
So that's the fence that they broke through, and I'm going to ask our photographer, we can go back to the left, I think it's Jeff's crew, to the left on the freeway, because CHP was just taking somebody into custody there. I did see that, maybe it was back to the right, I'm sorry, but I did see CHP taking somebody into custody there on the freeway, and you see our Jeff Nguyen moving around to get in position there where this is all going down after they broke through that fence. We'll let Jeff get situated. Jeff, are you with us? Can you hear us?
I'm ready.
Go ahead,
yes,
Jeff.
I can hear you. So let me go ahead and do this. Let me step aside so you can get a better look at what's going on. You know, Mike had mentioned that one person was taken to the ground and detained. That has happened right now. The CHP officers are moving people off the freeway. Oliver, once you walk forward along this fence line, I'm going to watch your back, brother. So just keep on walking, and you can see just what the CHP is doing right now. Obviously, right there, you heard the explosion from firework. But this whole thing has transpired in the last 5 minutes or so. The CHP has been able to reopen the freeway for traffic. What we saw was some very aggressive movement from the CHP. People had gone onto the freeway basically by that median right there that kind of separates the oncoming flow of traffic, or basically, I'm so sorry, that is actually the off-ramp right there. You've got the median, and then you've got the 101 here in downtown near Alameda. What the CHP officers did in all of their riot gear was they surrounded the group of demonstrators, and they basically encircled them, and all at once they pressed forward in basically 360 degrees and made the circle smaller and tighter, and now everyone is off the freeway. Oliver, why don't you keep on walking a little bit forward, and we're going to get ourselves beyond the vantage point of these two gentlemen right here. And over there you can see everyone is now off the freeway. Not sure as to how many people have been arrested. We did see one person cuffed and taken away, but you can see the CHP totally under control right now. In case you want to know where this is basically near the Metropolitan Water District, as well as Union Station. The offices of Metro is nearby. If you are someone who is familiar with LAPD and some of the infrastructure they have. It's also near Piper Tech as well. But right now you can see just a bunch of people out here trying to get a view of what's going on with this demonstration that was basically pushed off the freeway within about 5 minutes or so. So it seems like the CHP is not waiting for people to, you know, get more activated, or they're not waiting for the groups to get any larger. We did see someone just throw something over the fence to the CHP. You know, keep in mind something that the CHP is very aware of and they don't want to see a repeat of was Sunday night. You may remember there were a couple of CHP black and white units underneath one of the overpass out here, and then at some point people were breaking the concrete on the pavement, taking huge chunks and lobbing them onto the freeway, creating a lot of damage, creating a lot of havoc, as well as burning vehicles on the freeway. So the last thing they want to do is put themselves in that sort of situation again. And the other thing that you got to think about in terms of the response time, you know, when officers get in trouble, you don't want them to be basically stranded, right? Just to arrest one person, it's not a one-to-one ratio. you can't just have one police officer arresting one person. Oftentimes you need 2 or 3 police officers, not just to control the person and get them cuffed, but also to get them into the car. And something that, you know, we here in the United States have to keep in mind is that law enforcement have to function within the law. You can't just hurt somebody as you place them in the car. You got to make sure that their civil rights are preserved as well. And, you know, if there is some sort of medical situation, the police department also has to provide that medical care to someone, even if they are accused of a crime. So that's why there is this sort of balance that needs to be struck. But right now, as you can see in your foreground, in terms of this dirt field, where earlier we mentioned people broke through this fence line and then got onto the freeway, there are a lot of people. At this point, maybe some of them are getting the message and they are moving. Hey, Ollie, stay here, because they're coming. But they're taking, so you see a lot of people running. Do me a favor, Ollie, back up, get up against this fence so that you're safe, that your back is covered. Okay, so you see a lot of people moving. I'm gonna guess the reason is because more law enforcement is coming in to push this crowd. What we have been seeing since yesterday is that law enforcement is much more forward-thinking, if you will. You know, in past years, like when I covered the George Floyd demonstrations during the summer of 2020, sometimes law enforcement will kind of stand back and allow people to say what they want to say or convey what they want to convey. But since yesterday, we've been seeing them basically utilizing their right to call off or call for an unlawful assembly and order to disperse much quicker. About half an hour ago, we heard an order to disperse outside the federal detention center, and some people moved away, and at some point, as they were moving away from the detention center, they broke through that fence line that Oliver has been showing you. But right now, in terms of that dirt field, we are seeing far more journalists than demonstrators, as a lot of these people are just walking away from the scene. So I don't know what led to that. I didn't hear any sort of non-lethal munitions used. And you know, for the layperson, when we say non-lethal munition, what we are talking about is either like an aerial distraction device that we saw last night in Little Tokyo, where you see something streaking across the sky and then hearing a pop, or in terms of LAPD, what they have are either 37 millimeter or 40 millimeter non-lethal munitions. Colloquially, a lot of people consider those either foam projectiles or sponge projectiles, and they are used tactically to, quite frankly, inflict pain, and also the popping noise or the percussion that you hear from that is very daunting as well. But as I can count right now, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 18, 20, 22. So about 30 LAPD officers, 30 CHP officers lined up right here along this dirt field, and then behind them you have a number of CHP black and white units, probably about a dozen. And then Ollie, if you're able to kind of show down the freeway, they have basically stopped the southbound side of the 101. For those of us who are familiar with this area, this is near where the 101 meets the 10 freeway, and then it goes on to meet the 60 and the 5, but they have clearly taken control of this part of the 101 right now. A number of more black and white units are showing up, and they have all got their riot gears out as they secure this location. But certainly there were just dozens and dozens of young people. Ollie, let's walk forward if we can. See if we can get a better view out here. So if the folks at home can be patient with us, you can just take a look at the northbound 101 currently flowing a little bit across the way. Ollie, you can see how CHP has blocked off the Alameda on-ramp or off-ramp on the other side, on the north side. But heading north, up above us, Ollie, if you can just kind of rotate towards your left, buddy, you can see that CHP has just stop the traffic flow south of the 101, basically at Alameda or so. So if you are someone who works in the valley and needs to get home to the San Gabriel Valley or the east side, you're probably going to have to reconsider your route, and we will try our best to keep you abreast of the traffic situation out here. But you know what we counted off earlier, about 30 CHP officers, is now just dozens and dozens and dozens. And you know, the initial 30 really did an incredible job of surrounding the demonstrators. It's safe to say that the demonstrators outnumbered the CHP officers, but they just enveloped them and pushed them completely off the freeway. And they have all been convinced to just leave this dirt field where they were able to break through the fence line. So while they are taking a position here, we are going to back it up just a little bit. There is really no threat, to be honest with you, but you know, we just don't want to get into people's faces with our camera. While I am talking to you, I am also hearing sirens blaring as well. So I don't know what agency is running Code 3 right now. Code 3 is the police jargon for running lights and sirens. Hey, Ollie, do you want to see if you can go up there? So that is Aliso, and that's basically coming down Aliso around Los Angeles, and we see a lot of flashing red and whites going right down Aliso towards the federal building complex where the federal detention center is, as well as all of these CHP officers throughout the day. We can tell you that we have seen multiple agencies coming in to support the mission or the assignment here with LAPD. We've seen a number of agencies from the Inland Empire as well. But as we look around and we pan around, at this point, there are just dozens and dozens of CHP units. And while we are here, we are seeing some of them kind of leapfrogging the team right here. So some of them are just zipping off and going south. I don't know if there is another area where things are pressing, because certainly a lot of the young people left this area. So I don't know if they've tried to jump on the freeway at another spot. But you know, if I may, I have been talking quite a bit. So let me just go ahead and toss it back to you in case you want to kind of reset the coverage.
Well, we do have a SkyCal overhead now, Jeff. We did see those protesters leave the area where you were at. We saw a little bit of conversation between what looked like a lead protester there, like in a white cutoff shirt, spoke to officers, and little by little those protesters turned around, as we're seeing them right now from SkyCal, and leave the area. And as Jeff was showing us, traffic on the freeway there was affected for a little bit. Right now it seems like they have it blocked. We saw at least one arrest happen on the freeway, and it should be hopefully within the next few minutes or so, once they can guarantee maybe that fencing is back up, Amy, and that the area is secure, that they would let traffic come through here. But the good news is that the protesters did not overwhelm police, that they were able to come in, kind of round them up, as Jeff was saying, kind of surrounded them, created a circle around them, and through the art of conversation, apparently had them turn around and go back to a safe area.
Exactly, exactly. Unfortunately, we are just seeing a huge backup on the 101.
Really
However,
quickly.
It's really backed up. Mike Rogers on the breaking news desk also monitoring all of this as well. Mike, it looks like just miles there of backup.
Yeah, miles of backup. It stacked up really, really quickly. And what you have left here where Jeff was is really just CHP. I mean, you had those couple officers that were there to begin with, and then they really called in the cavalry. And you know, more of these officers keep coming in, even though the protesters are gone. I want John to show us where the protesters are marching to, because they're actually going to go meet up with another group of protesters. It looks like they're basically at First and Alameda. That's the Federal Detention Center on the right-hand side of your screen, the federal building. Here is the large group of protesters. Now you can see a group of LAPD, or I shouldn't say LAPD, but law enforcement motorcycle officers there as well. I believe that's LAPD. But there you have the protesters on the right-hand side, and they are marching, and they will join a group that is back over at the Federal Detention Center or the federal court complex, where we had already seen arrests. So LAPD, before we came on the air this afternoon, had kettled a group of protesters here in front of the federal building and did do a number of arrests. It was very peaceful. It was one of those situations where the group knew they were going to be taken into custody and peacefully did so. And one by one, the officers came in, put them in handcuffs and or zip ties rather, and then kind of moved them away. And actually, John, is that still happening right here? It was right there. I can't tell if there's still that group in the middle. Yeah, so look at that. They're all, it's hard to see in the shadow, but they are all lined up along the wall there. So everybody, and that's a lot of people that you can see with their hands behind their backs that have been taken into custody. And now John's repositioning SkyCal so we can see them a little bit better.
So, Mike, these are acts of civil disobedience,
Yes,
kind of,
yeah,
right?
yeah,
What we're
right.
seeing
And I
here
mean,
today.
and we've seen that in protests, right? This
Right.
is the, this is for their cause, and it was not violent at
Correct.
all
Yep.
by any stretch of the imagination. The protesters were not violent. The law enforcement was not violent. It was a situation where they knew they were going to go to jail. They all, were encircled by the LAPD, and one by one they were put in zip ties and led away. And now they're all standing up against the wall. Here is the last couple group of them that I believe everyone's. Oh no, they're still. So see right there on the left.
Yeah.
You can see they're walking that person away at the top of the screen. So then they'll come in. Likely that person in the red is going to be next. So they'll walk up to him. There you go. He's going to have his hands behind his back. They'll put him in handcuffs.
Not
or
resisting,
the zip
right?
ties.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Yeah. No, it's a very, very peaceful demonstration here, and these people are willing to be arrested for their cause. And this is, what we have heard from our elected leaders about if this is how you're going to protest, this is the way to do it. But as SkyCal pans down the building there, you can see just the large number of people that are now in custody for failure to disperse.
Mike, and are they then going to be put into those white buses that we saw last night? We see a couple of them there on the scene as well as we open up to show those buses.
Yeah, and you see that happening right here. And I think, John, if you go back up just to the top of one of those, that first bus there, they're kind of got them lined up right there. So you've got the vans right there, which they'll put them in some of those vans, which I think that's happening at the top of the screen, John, with those doors open. Yeah, they're loading up the protesters into those vans. So that's happening right there. They'll go be processed. It will take a while. That's not going to be a quick in and out kind of thing because of the number of them. It'll take a long time for them to be actually, go through the booking process and be released, but they likely won't spend a night in jail unless they've got something else going on with them.
So it'll be fingerprinted, photographed, fill out some information, and then at some point
Released and come back for a court
cited
date.
and released to come back later for a court date.